story at some other time, but this was one of two tournaments that I fished where I got stuck unbelievable in my boat. And one of the things about it is when I was fishing Bassmaster before they instituted like the 250 horsepower rule, we had a 150 horsepower rule, and our boats were smaller at the time. I had I believe it was a Ranger, a 350 Ranger with a 150 on it. And a 350 Ranger with a 150 is a light, small boat compared to the 21 footers with the 250s. And after they went to the bigger boats, I was on the Ranger Pro staff, and they wouldn't let us run a small boat anymore. They wanted us to run the biggest model they had. So once they instituted the fact we had to go to a bigger boat, I couldn't fish like this anymore the way I'm going to tell you to. But one of the primary techniques that I used for many years fishing was I would purposely try to get into the most hardest to reach areas of any lake that I fished. Backs of creeks, running over mud flats, jumping over sandbars, just doing anything I could to get away from the crowd. And it paid off. I had a lot of high finishes, and made a lot of classics because of it. So this particular one, what it was, this was a Bassmaster Invitational back, I think it was 1989 or 1990 down at the Arkansas River at a Pine Bluff. And anyway, if you've never been on the Arkansas River down there, there's a lot of backwaters and islands out in the river and chutes you can run through, and it's pretty complicated place to fish. And one of the things you got to remember is back then all I had was a paper map and a flasher. And a compass. We didn't have any GPS, we didn't have any mapping capabilities. We took a paper map and put it on your lap, and you ran down the lake looking at the paper map on your lap, looking at your flasher. So anyway, I was studying this map, and I was running down the lake, running up the lake about probably 30 miles an hour. And I was wanting to get into this one. I saw a creek on the back side of this island that you had to run through this chute to get in this particular creek. And I looked at this creek on the map, and it went a long way up in there. So I knew that if I could get into that creek, it would have some deeper water. But you had to run across this probably about a half a mile long section, at least a half a mile, probably maybe even a mile, I don't know, it was a long way. But behind this island, you had to run back behind this island in order to access that creek. So anyway, I was running through there, and I got up on plane, and I'm running through this back chute there, and it's holding pretty steady at about 4 foot, and I'm only going like 30 miles an hour or something. And I noticed that it was getting shallower and shallower, but I could